Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I'm now here again with another, not a finances book, as you might be wondering if you just see the picture right now, but it is actually a self-help book. Why I'm doing a self-help book again, and even though I just was talking about investing and really being willing to investing, it is not that quite fun, and I do really want to do things on this channel that's fun for me. And yeah, the whole authenticity and the whole flair of this episodes would be gone if I just go through things I actually don't like just because I think somebody else could use it, which is totally true. But, with me being all the time, isn't that great. So I'd either be pumped about something I really enjoy reading or going through with you than being fucked with or fact about with, going through something I actually do not like. But today, as you can see in the background or not, it depends on whether you're on the podcast or not. And I just have to say something right now. In the podcast description or in the YouTube description, anywhere, there are all my links to the social media channels or social media profiles or platforms, whatever you want to call them, I'm on. So I would just please you to check them out and maybe follow me if there is something that's interesting to you. I haven't found a way to really include it into the stream, all my links, but I could just, good one. 1 second, please. A tiny second. I really hope that he's not cranking up the fucking fans again, because then I just hate it because I do not really understand it. Copy link address. And so for the people in the stream, there is a link. Does it lead to the exact same thing? I hope. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. So if you go on this link, this is actually a pretty great website. So if you have an Instagram site as well and you're really struggling with just being able to really, use one link, just go to, I think it's Link Lite. It is totally free and you can just put up quite a lot of links into it. So it's just, as you can see, and if I can show you right, can I show you? I will show you right now where I am. So if you go then to this link on my Instagram profile, you then actually see some kind of pretty well designed interface where you can just see all the social media profiles or social media platforms I'm on, which is totally great for Instagram because there you just have one choice. So there you can see there's the podcast, there's Quora, there's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Instagram isn't included because, if you're just going onto a Instagram profile, you wouldn't expect to just, get redirected to a Instagram profile. But there you can see the stream actually loading. And I actually see right now that the stream is doing not that good. I do not know why. And there are some days where it's just either 100 or just 0 bitrate per second, which just determines how good the stream is in terms of the quality of the picture. The thing is, so of the video quality, but the thing is, I actually think that you can listen to it anyways, if the quality is good or not. But yeah, let's actually start with the book. So the book is called The Millionaire Fastlane, which is a book about how to get rich fast, which is, some kind of contradiction in itself because you can't get rich that fast besides, really winning the lottery or stealing something, which I wouldn't really suggest you to do, obviously. And, there are just, or might be just some other ways to get rich really fast. But the thing is, getting rich and getting successful is just a process. And actually, at the end, at my point of view, the process itself is the goal and not the goal is the goal. So just the process itself is then at the end, at my point of view, and I just really been kind of living it and been experiencing it, that often just the experiences you make through the progress is just pretty great. And at the end, you are, on your you just succeeded, or you got to your goal or whatever. And the thing is, then you're like, yeah, it's quite fun here, but you just had this progress and had this path for maybe so many fucking years, and then it's just gone. This wouldn't be possible. This wouldn't work, especially not for me, because I'm someone, I like to work on things. I like to do this right now, which is actually good for me and for me being successful as well. But yeah, so I think there will never be a time like I'm just sitting around on the beach or whatever. It doesn't matter how successful I am, because I do like doing things. I do like creating stuff. I do like just doing what I'm doing right now. But let's see. So DeMarco, which is the author of this book, in the Millionaire Fastlane tells us that the way to get rich, as most people in the West live it, and teach it, is all wrong and deadly slow. And he then proposes, and teaches us the right way, and it does make a lot of sense. I can't read right now. Hopefully this will get better soon. Yeah. So I've been going through it a little bit to just see if so initially I just really wanted to talk about something about meditation. The thing is, I just searched up a book, and the book wasn't really quite that, not in terms of being interested in it, but it wasn't quite right, I think. And then also the author of this article, so I'm again on the thepowermoves.com website, the author actually said that, there isn't much proof for all the things the author said in the book. And, so I decided to be like, yeah, instead of quite searching for a lot of meditation books or meditation articles and to really waste my time, because of all these technical and problems, and also problems in terms of the source I'm going to use today, everything got quite a lot delayed, which is pretty a pity, because it fucks me up a lot. I hope the stream is now doing a little bit better, but it seems a little bit wrong. It seems not to be doing that great. But let's see. But okay, so let's go actually so initially I just wanted to talk about meditation, because it's actually something I'm not that knowledgeable in, even though I'm just meditating every single day, which is maybe not quite the best thing to do. I do have a little bit of knowledge, but it isn't enough to just be talking about it for a longer time. So I was thinking about, I'll go through a book, and then I was just reading the book summary and just going a little bit through it, so that I can actually say, this is something that provides you value, and this provides me value. The thing is, if the author just talks shit and there's no actual proof for it, then I can't work with it and you can't work with it. So I just decided to go through a book I've actually been going through in my leisure time on my own, which is, the Fastlane Millionaire, or Fastlane Millionaire actually. And I know that it is quite a good book, because actually the author of this article even says that it is a good book. And if there's something I'm not that quite sure about, I will say it. And if there's something I'm thinking like, I wouldn't actually say that, I would say it as well. And there's just one thing right now, I think, in the first two sentences. But I just have to be sure that everything is in the right position. So let's start with the bullet summary. Working a job and investing in the stock market will not make you rich. Being rich is such a subjective thing. The thing is, some people might be rich by even, earning 10,000 a year, which is not that much, but for a lot of people, you just have to get into other perspectives and just to be in perspective, because other people are just earning quite nothing a year, and so 10,000 for them would be just a dream. And then there are other person who are just making millions today, and they act like I really need the 100 million a year to just be living, just wondering how they live if they really need the 100 million. But yeah, it's just in terms of your subjective perspective actually. But the thing is, actually another thing I'm not that quite sure about, or not that quite really saying yeah to it, is investing in the stock market. Because at my point of view, you actually can get rich by investing in the stock market, but it will take a lot of time. And if it's this why the author said it, I don't know. But the thing is, just investing into a good company you think is really growing in the next few years or few months even is quite a good idea at my point of view. So I haven't been investing in my whole entire life, not a single thing, but I guess because it just makes sense to me. And yeah, a lot of people do it. The third richest man, or the fourth maybe now, so Warren Buffett, just created his wealth with investing. So I actually think that there must be something about it. But yeah, entrepreneurship, I really have to look up how it is called in French actually, because I think it's entrepreneur, and in English it is more like entrepreneur, but entrepreneur sounds a little bit better at my point of view. But let's see. Entrepreneurs, the fast lane, will give you independence, freedom, and early wealth retirement. Okay, sounds great. Yeah. Most of the time, like when people just say, I'll make you rich in 10 days, and such fucking things, and they just, sell you a course about how to get rich really fast. And there's actually something standing in this book or in the summary about this kind of topic. It's just bullshit. And if you're just really looking for shortcuts, these are all scams, because most of the time, and this is also something Gary Vee was saying, and this is actually something I've experienced myself, I've been Googling so fucking often how to get rich fast, how to make money now, how to make money online, because I just really wanted to earn my own money pretty early, or just, quite now. The thing is, there aren't such things like this. And these are just shortcuts, as you can see, or just a thing like, yeah, how do I build muscle fast? How do I XY fast? It's always the same thing. Everything must go fast nowadays, even though at my point of view, as was telling before, the process is actually what it is all about. Because in process, you get really the person you are at the end. And if you skip the whole process, you might be the same person, but just having more money. The thing is, most of the time, just shortcuts are really scams, and they just, backfire a lot, and you just, lose your money on it, and especially lose your time on it, which is, kind of more precious than your money is. And time is your most important resource. Buy time, don't trade time for money. The thing is, a lot of people do not have money. Yeah, and what should they do? They should use their fucking time. The thing is, what am I doing right now? I'm actually using my time to create something, to start something, to build something, to make this right now. The thing is, I can't spend the money, and I'm not really willing to spend the money right now. Even though I was thinking about just, advertising something, so boosting a post of mine to just see if this works, because I've just really been in this kind of mindset of trying to help smaller businesses to grow through Facebook ads and all these things you might have actually heard about or heard of, which is something that's really been trending right now, or been trending in the past, I think 2 or 3 years, which is a social media marketing agency, which is quite all about running ads on social media so that other businesses can grow. So it's just some kind of service, or it's actually a service for other businesses. The thing is, I haven't been really running ads in my entire life even once, and so it was just like it would be a win-win situation. First of all, I might get a lot of new customers or followers or whatever, or some people that are interested in what I'm doing, or just, can be helped by what I'm doing. And I get the knowledge of just running ads, which is also totally great. The thing is, I actually know that by just running one single ad, which is quite nothing, I won't get the knowledge. But, everyone has to start once. But let's see the full summary. I actually have to zoom out a little bit, and I hope you can read it. It's always like a little bit tricky to really be sure if you can actually read it or not, because on this screen, I actually do have another screen in front of me. On this screen, I do have the stream and the video export, or the final product. Actually, there it seems to be quite quite small, but I really have to say that this display in front of me isn't just the best. But yeah, let's actually start. DeMarco says, the Millionaire Fastlane is not the 4-hour work week that will tell you step by step what to do. He says that this is your task, success is a journey, and it cannot be outsourced to India. Which is totally true. This is practically some kind of what I was telling you just before. So part 1, wealth in a wheelchair. One day, DeMarco saw a young man drive his dream car, a Lamborghini. That was the epiphany for him, and he realized the difference between get rich slow and get rich fast. I actually do not know what he wants to say with this. Actually, I don't know. Just the truth. I don't know. So I just read it again. I do not really want to waste your time and mine as well. But one day DeMarco saw a young man drive his dream car, a Lamborghini. Yeah. That was the epiphany for him, and he realized the difference between get rich slow and get rich fast. Okay, I do not know now, but let's go ahead. Part 2, wealth is not a road, but a road trip, because it actually can take you a fucking long time. The thing is, then if you're just doing something you do not like, it's just completely fucking your life. Because getting rich by doing something you're passionate about is the easiest way, at my point of view, because you're actually doing it, with fun and passion, and you really love it. So it won't take that much time. If you're doing something just because of the money, you won't get rich that fast. But what I wanted to say is that Warren Buffett, this is all quite funny, because you often see some statistics or data from him, how he got that rich, and his kind of span, so his lifespan, and the relation to the money correlated to it. You can just see that actually I think he's now around 70, some kind of 70, even a little bit old, I guess. There his wealth really spiked up, or really peaked, and he's now worth around 80 billion or something like that. The thing is, in relation to the 1 million he was worth at, I think, 24, it is nothing. The 1 million seems to be like, you actually can't see it, such a line, and the 80 billion then just has to be such a big graph. The thing is, it's just like, 1 million compared to 80 billion is nothing. The other thing is that 1 million is pretty a lot for being just 24 in terms of his net worth. It is, quite much. But yeah, so wealth is not a road but a road trip. The typical get rich scheme or whatever, bandied by financial gurus, which he doubts or dubs. Get rich slow is a trap. The authors say you need to toil your whole life employed by someone else, squandering the golden years of your life in a cubicycle. Actually, because I just, read employed, actually people just want to be employees, because just being an entrepreneur or just having your own business is fucking hard. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and you're responsible for everything that happens. And you should be, actually. But the thing is, if you're just, if your company breaks down, you're the one to be blamed. If you're an employee, you just be like, that's my boss's fault. I do not care. It is always like, it is easy. It is pretty easy to be an employee. And the thing is, if you like it, why wouldn't you or shouldn't you be an employee? Or, employee, I think. Yeah, I should be right. It's always kind of hard. Employer and employee and so on. But the thing is, if you like it, why shouldn't you be doing it? You can make decent money as an employee. It just may take time, a little bit more time, a little bit longer of a time period to just get to this wealth or income or earnings, but the possibility is there. It just, then also depends on how hard you work and what skills you have and how talented you are and so on. But you do not have to be an entrepreneur to just get rich. I think a lot of quite maybe staff managers or product managers in Tesla or Facebook or Google or in just any fucking big company are earning quite a lot of money. Even I think maybe 200k a year, which is fairly a lot, and you can decently live from it. You do not have to be an entrepreneur. It's just you really then have to focus on yourself and see what yourself is saying. Are you the guy who should be an entrepreneur, or are you the guy or girl actually who should be an employee? It's just, in terms of your goals and your values and what you believe in. MG says that people see the big event grabbing headlines like the IPO or the big buyout and think that getting rich is event driven. But the real story is that the process behind those events. The process entails sacrifices and hard work. You will never enjoy the big ticket even without the process. MJ also introduces the core concept of the book here. Fast wealth happens exponentially, not linearly. And I actually do have to really show you the graph of Warren Buffett, even though I really have shown you this one quite often, but it is important and it is actually pretty interesting to look at it, because it's totally exponential and it makes sense, because you just have to think about it like investing. This might be quite a good introduction. If you have 10k and you invest 10k, you then get maybe a return of, I don't know, I even do not know this shit, but maybe 10%, which is then quite a lot, I don't know. Then maybe you just get out of it 100k from 10k, and then you invest the 100k, and then you get back 1 million. You just see what I'm heading towards. It makes sense. It makes total sense. And if we just take a look at this graph, I hope should be doing fine. So you can see with 14 he was actually worth 5 fucking k. With 15, 6k. With 19, 10k, 21, 20k, and his first million he got by 30. This is, it's amazing. 7 million by 35. You can actually see the time span between actually getting his first million, which were actually quite 15 years, and then from 1 million to 8 million, it's only 6 years, so quite the half. And this is amazing, and there you can just see that it's, exponential. And this is the same thing with Instagram and social media in general. I now see, and I'm so fucking thankful for it, that I do have 523 actually right now followers. The thing is, it is exponential growth. So at my point of view, just really getting started is the whole harder thing about it. If you just, if this ball is rolling, it will get faster and faster and faster. At the end, you just get to a place where it is pretty good. So, it's definitely exponential because it makes sense. Employment and savings are linear. That's why they don't work. And that's actually true. There might be some kind of, change in terms of your income. If you're an employer or employee, you might be earning, 2Ks or 2K a month. And maybe after 10 years, you get 3K and so on. So there's a little bit of growth there. But it's not that exponential as if you were, or if you would have a company. The same thing with savings. I don't know. If you're just saving underneath your bed, it might be because you just, get the same earnings every single month, and so you won't get anything more back. If you're saving it in terms of investing it, my point of view, yeah, it is exponential, some sort of, because yeah, Warren Buffett is doing it, and it just makes sense that if you invest 100k, that you get much more out of it than if you just use 1k or 2k or whatever. So yeah, and he puts people into 3 different roads when it comes to wealth. The first one is the sidewalk, the second one is the slow lane, and the third one is the fast lane. Part 3, poorness, the sidewalk. So it's just the sidewalk is the poorest one, the slow lane is some kind of in the mid average area, and the fast lane is actually the one who will become a millionaire, billionaire, or whatever. So part 3, poorness and the sidewalk. In short, the sidewalk are those people who spend more than they earn, which is, I really can't understand it. I can't understand it. If you do not have the money, why would you spend it on something you can't buy yourself? It's just always that people really want to live above their standards. And it wouldn't make any sense. If you just really want that nice car, work more or work something differently or work 2 jobs. But you're really getting in debt and never getting to a really better place in terms of your finances is really, the dumbest way to just start or just do things. But I quite get it, because short-term satisfactions are great. Yeah, I would like to have a new phone right now. Yeah, but the thing is, I do not want to spend the fucking money on it. But yeah, I think there's actually quite a great example here. So they are not necessarily poor; they can be very rich, but they finance their life with an unsustainable mix of income and debt, like Johnny Depp. And if you do not know, Johnny Depp is actually spending, if I'm not pretty wrong here, he's actually spending 25k a month only for wine, which is just boom. I wouldn't just wanted to say that I would never spend so much money on wine. Maybe I will do it someday. I hope not. I really hope not, but the chances are there. I really hope not. I guess not. Instant gratification is the key for the sidewalker. You probably heard the fable of the ant and the grasshopper. Well, the grasshopper resides on the sidewalk. I did know this kind of fable, or yeah. And I actually see that the fucking live stream isn't doing well. It's just really not doing well. It's just doing really, really poorly. Just have to see, there's some kind of app or way to, oh no, never mind. There was quite a way to just to see or just have some problem solving action here, but I do just had to log in, and this just takes too much time. So sidewalk also tend to pursue money through events. So things like lottery and gambling and a big hit, etc. Which is totally true. If you just win in the lottery, you do not have the mind of someone who is actually been earning a lot of money recently or in a longer period of time, and then you might actually be spending it just really dumb because you aren't used to it, really not, and it does just make sense that you do not have the knowledge then to really use it the right way. So the right way is actually, again, something seriously subjective. So yeah, part 4, the mediocrity, which is then the slow lane. So it is actually like, yeah, the grasshoppers or the sidewalk people are the poorest, or maybe you can even say the dumbest in terms of their finances. The average or some kind of middle thing are the slow lane, and the really big hitters are the fast lane. Most people reside on the slow lane. They sacrifice today for a better tomorrow, which is actually, at my point of view, a pretty great way to live, because you then just make every single day better. If you just live like, tomorrow will be a greater day, and so I'm working today to make tomorrow a better day, You will always do it the same way and the same way and the same way, and someday, you know, you are in a great place. But then this is actually a pretty good example, because then it is really, the goal is then a goal, and you actually do not care about the goal. And I quite promise you, because if you just work on something your whole life long and then just doing nothing, just in an instant, this, some kind of for me it doesn't make sense. So this is only for me. For me, it doesn't make sense, and I wouldn't do it. But if you would like to just, really work hard your whole life long and then retire someday and then really be living on Hawaii and, smoking weed all day long, yeah, you could be doing it, but it isn't something for me. So, so in the ant and the grasshopper fable, these people are the ants. They buy into the compound interest strategy, so they work hard today and save to be rich tomorrow. It's not an optimal strategy, the author says. Decades in a job you likely don't love are also wasted decades, which is totally true. And this is some kind of my philosophy, or got some kind of my philosophy. In the slow lane, you are the butt end of a sucker's trade. You trade a salary while your employer makes money off of you, which is just something so fucking negative. The thing is, if you like to be employee, just do it. And not all bosses are just pretty fucking assholes. A lot of people, and especially the people who are really selling being rich and selling being an entrepreneur, are being like, yeah, actually, your boss is just making money out of you and so on. Just this negative thinking, but yeah, just listen to yourself. Just listen to what your heart is saying, what your gut is saying, and then do that. Everything else wouldn't make any sense for me, some kind of, because your brain and your gut will say what you actually love, what you like, and what should be done by you and what should not be done. So it's not an optimal strategy. I've read that. I'm a sucker. I'm a pretty sucker. So you trade 5 for 2 when you give Monday to Friday to get 2 days off. That's why you see people celebrating the freedom on Friday only to go back in the cage again on Monday. No fuck, TGIF, your life is now. Your life can be Friday every day. That's actually true. And if this is really your passion, then just work for, having a Friday every single day. This would be something that works, maybe not, because I'm just thinking about it like there's no long-term value for yourself, because I think you just get used to it, and sometimes or some days you just be like, yeah, I'm actually missing the old days where I'm working or where I was working. Yeah, you might, or I would. The other problem with the slow lane is also that you are not in the driver's seat, which is some kind of true. You can really just work your way up into your company or in your boss's company to really get a high employee and just, earn quite a lot of money. But then it's finished. So you could just, get the boss or the CEO of the company. This would work as well. But yeah. You don't control your destiny. What if the stock market tanks when you're about to withdraw your money? Or if you want to double your income today, think your boss will accept it if you get a heart attack at 55? In terms of the boss, this is totally true. He won't be like, yeah, you get this, double the money. I double your money. I don't know. I don't think so. Because it wouldn't just then be good for the company if every fucking employee just comes up and be like, yeah, could I get the double of my income, please? So then there's some kind of bullet points with problems of the slow lane. So trade weeks for weekends, and this is actually the baddest thing at my fucking point of view that you could ever be doing. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you be doing something you actually do not like to then just be like, yeah, now it is weekend and now I can actually do something I like? Doesn't make any sense. And do not know, and I do not quite understand why people do it anyways, even though they have the chance to really, actually be doing something they like and actually be doing something they love to do, would like to do. I understand that people really have to work on something if they're quite poor or not in that such a good position that they really need the money. This makes total sense for me. And I really not want to say that, yeah, you actually are all pussies and you just do not work and you do not want to work. This is total shit as well. The thing is, there are quite a lot of scenarios and a lot of situations people could be in. The thing is, a lot of people are just lazy. Really fucking lazy. And they're too lazy to create a side hustle or doing something besides what they actually like to, really being monetizing it in the long term. And then actually you can just earn a lot more money if this is your goal. You can be happier because you're doing something you like if this is your goal, and so on. No leverage, work twice harder is not twice the money. The actual thing is, if you get paid your overtime, if it is called like this, I don't know. If you get paid it, this might be working, or if you just get a lot more days off, then it might be working, yeah. But the thing is, sometimes or someday your boss will say, yeah, no, you please do not work, or, just 3x your fucking time or your fucking time at work, because he, wouldn't be able to pay you eventually, wouldn't be able to give you more days off because you actually have already 500,000 of them. Yeah. But it's true. The thing is, if you're an entrepreneur and if you're really willing to leverage and scale everything, you do have the money and you can just, use the money. Trade time for money. You can never buy back time, which is totally true. But at my point of view, just if you really start working on, your own business and your own hustle and so on, you do really just have to put in the time. And, if time is really the only resource you have, what should you do instead? What should you do? Upper limit, can't work more than 24 hours a day. Totally true. If you have the money and if you have a company of employees, you can actually be doing it. You can actually, be doing like 500 hours a day. If you just, really calculate it in terms of the people and how much they work. Trade your best years for the future, uncertain money. This is actually true. And this is something that Gary Vee is actually as well. And yeah, I'm talking a lot about him, and I'm quite sorry, but I actually really suggest you to really check out some of his stuff, because he is doing quite a lot of things, quite a lot of good things. He's a great inspiration for me, and he quite really, gave me the decision, or just, made me really decide that I will be doing the social media thing right now. Because before I was just like, yeah, I do want to earn my own money. I do want to get rich. I do want to get successful and do want to help people. And I do want to create some value, because, this is, at the end, this what might be the most valuable thing for me, or will be, I guess. And he really was the person who just, made me doing it, because I actually just really understood that this is the thing I could be doing, and this is something that I might actually be good at, and this is actually what's fun for me as well. Yeah. So, but actually I wanted to say that he's totally right by just saying that if you just get out of college or whatever school you're in and whatever system you're in terms of school, it is not, the best thing to just get a fixed job right now. And, he's totally right by saying that it doesn't make sense, because then it is the right time and the best time to just try out a lot of things and to really see what the things are you actually like. Because the thing is, a lot of people might be like, yeah, I'm really willing to work on, I don't know, I really want to be a baker my whole life long, because you're just really liking to do it right now. The thing is, there are so much other things out there. And, if you just do not try it out, you will never know what doesn't work for you, and what doesn't, or what is working for you as well. So at my point of view, but it's, I have been talking with someone and I actually remember it. This is the good thing about it, because I actually wanted to talk about it before. The thing with it is that going to your university after college or after whatever you're doing, is quite the same thing. You're just, then giving yourself more knowledge to really be doing than a fixed job or a fixed job then for your whole life long, and you haven't been really trying out enough, at my point of view, to just really decide, and this is what I'm willing to do, and this is what, makes me happy, and this is what I'm loving, and this is what I'm passionate about. The thing is, if you get out of college and you do not really study, you will probably have the time again to study, totally, but you won't be that capable of it. This is, the only downside I could have thought of or can think of right now. Because if you're really in the stage and really in the mindset of college and learning and studying and all these things, it will be much, much more easier for you to study just right after college than if you're just an old sucker like 50 and you're really willing to study something. This will get pretty hard because, in terms of your age and so on, all these things get a little bit different. But compound interest takes time and only works in the final years, and limiting learning compared to huge learning with your business. It is actually something I've been quite wondering about. A lot of people just say that the average persons aren't just learning a lot or just getting not that much knowledge after they had their study or after they went to school. So just, until they started actually working. And I was quite like, and I've quite been looking and keeping attention to, the people around me and to actually see, and it is quite right, because not that many people I actually see, or I think I see, aren't reading any books or so on, which doesn't mean that books are the only way to get knowledge. Totally not. Because some kind of, I do not really want to say hater, but I don't like the term of generalization, because a lot of people just say, you have to read the books to get the knowledge in, to get successful. But I say, if you read, if you like reading, do it, because it's a great way, even to get fast knowledge and so on. If you like to talk to people, then talk to people who are actually rich or successful or whatever. If you like listening to something in general, then listen to audiobooks or podcasts or whatever. If you are liking osmosis, which is just, looking at what people are doing and just doing the same, do this. And in terms of this, a good thing would be just to work for free for someone you really appreciate or really think of him or her like, this is the place where I really want to get someday in my life. And let's see. I haven't been gone pretty long way today. Actually, there's quite a lot left. I'm quite slow. But the thing is, I'm just some kind of debating in my head right now if being slow is the right thing here, because most of the time the best decision and the best thing is to be just fast, because nowadays everything is fast, and often it's just much cheaper and much better to just then be like, I made a bad decision and I fucked something up, and so I will just change it afterwards, or just change it in the future. But let's see, I will go through this is it. So the paradox of practice: you are being conned. It's CONNED. I have never seen it. I do not know how to pronounce it. But So he makes fun of Robert Kiyosaki and his poor dad, rich dad. MJ says Kiyosaki didn't make money with his real estate tips, but by selling book with his tips, which doesn't make him credible, which is totally true. And there are quite a lot of people who are just getting rich by selling books on how to get rich, which is, some kind of dumb. It wouldn't be dumb if he just or she just talks about getting rich in terms of selling a book on how to get rich. So just, make the book about the book itself. And this would actually be a really funny idea. And I actually think a lot of people would buy it. But then there would be just more people who would be doing it. This wouldn't be that good. But let's see. So MJ says Kiyosaki didn't make money, blah blah blah. MJ doesn't mention it, but this is similar to Tony Robbins peddling slow lane compound interest and Tai Lopez making money selling courses on how to make money. Actually, with Tony Robbins, it's something like, yeah, I don't know, yeah, he is selling books as well, but I think in his early days he was actually quite an investor in the first hand, but on the other side he was just really rich quite early. I think even with 24 he got his first million or 500k or something. Just look it up. There was some video I've seen somewhere, but I do not know. Actually, I do not know, unfortunately. Part 5, Wealth, the Fast Lane Roadmap. People on the Fast Lane take care of their finances like slow laners. Okay, so but slow laners fucked everything up. This was a point where I just wondered, or was wondering, as I was going through this one the first time. They just take care of the finances like a slow laner, but also enjoy life more, like the sidewalker. However, as they build their empires, they are more similar to slow laners, but with key differences. So I think actually he is not talking about fast laners, but what it was the sidewalk, the slow. Oh no, he's talking about slowness. Never mind. Everything is good. I just misunderstood the text. I'm sorry. So fast liners accumulate wealth in 10 years or less instead of decades. I think this is also some kind of generalization. You can definitely see that, yeah, Buffett was some kind of like this, and it took him more than 10 years to actually get a million or to be wealthy, even though wealth is actually, again, such a pretty subjective and subjective thing. Fast laners control their assets instead of depending on external forces, and fast laners give jobs while slow laners seek jobs, and fast laners use financial assets to generate cash. So slow laners use them to get rich. Yeah, in terms of the slow laners, create jobs, and the others just seek jobs, which is then just really an kind of correlated and in really deep relation to, yeah, you are a worker, you will never get successful, and you're a piece of shit. You're an entrepreneur, you're a superman, you're a super person, you're a super girl, and you will definitely get rich. It doesn't matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter what idea you have. And this, this is some kind of misperception, if this is even a word that works here, because I do not actually know what it means, but I've heard it somewhere. Actually, I think Gary Vee, which is quite often the thing. I often use just the words. I actually do not know how to use them. But the thing is, as I was saying, you can actually get a lot of money and earn a lot of money by just being an employee. But yeah. So however, the market is very clear. Do not confuse get rich quick with get rich easy. Fastlane is all about front loading your hard work, which is totally true. It's definitely not easy, and I'm quite just seeing it right now. I'm working on these things like 2 hours a day additionally to my 40-hour weeks I have with school already. The thing is, it is fun for me. Yeah, it is fun for me just talking to my phone right now and talking to you guys right now, or girls actually. And it is fun. It is fun for me, and I think, and I just pretty know that I'm doing something good for my future and I'm doing something good for myself, in terms of really being learning something actively right now and being learning something passively through the whole content creation and so on. So yeah, hard work is actually something I like, I guess, when I'm working on something I actually love. That's the top factor of it. Building a pyramid at the different roads. And the market uses the example of building a pyramid to explain the different approaches. I will give my own slight different interpretation, which is always great to have, because as you can see now, you have the opinion of the author of the book, you have the opinion of the author of the article, then you have the opinion of myself, and then you have your opinion. This is good. You have 4 opinions. And if there are just more people in the comments as well, sorry, there are even more opinions, and this is just great. Then you can just look at these articles and look at these books and all these contents I create from pretty much different angles, and then you just really can choose everything out of it and press it and really press it hard and get the whole fuck out of it. But yeah. So the slow laner starts smoothing the stones slowly. The fast lane works even harder, weekends included, all passionate about his project, but he is not putting up any stones. After 5 years, it looks like the slow laner is getting stuff done, but then the fast laner's crane is ready. In a few months' time, he's already surpassed the slow laner and will finish the pyramid in a few years, ready to enjoy it while he's still young. The sidewalker, he blew all his initial money on Egyptian hookers, and now he bums around for scrap change. Yeah, it's some kind of, I don't know, there are quite some good things about this book, and I will definitely be just, pushing it to be quite positive and in a way that I think is right at my point of view, because I will just see if there is something negative. I will definitely say that I'm not, this is not my opinion, and this is not what I believe in, and this is not what I think in. So I will definitely say, and this is something I'm kind of really thinking about in this book, because there are some things I'm not that into, but yeah. So become a producer, this is definitely something that I'm pretty into, because there were some statistics, but I think it's actually some kind of 80 to 90% of the people are just consumers, and the rest of it are then producers. The thing is, because we have so much consumers, there is a lot of space for the producers. It would be some kind of problematic if there were just 50-50, because then the competition, which is definitely pretty fucking high and fucking hard right now, would be then just amazingly high and amazingly fucked up. But because it isn't like this, I would definitely be inviting you to just really be producing as well. You can learn a lot from it. If it is something you actually like, you get something out of it, you can make it or monetize it and then have it as an actual work or have it in an actual income stream some days later, and this is a good thing. But the market says we all been conditioned to consume and buy stuff. He urges you instead to get into the mentality of providing stuff. Don't attend a seminar, give one. Don't dig for gold, sell the shovels, and don't take a mortgage. I don't know. It's TGHE. Hold one. Yeah, hold one mortgage or whatever. So divorce wealth with time. MG recommends you build money trees such as systems or products producing income independently of you, which is often referred as passive income, which is something I don't quite like. It's a trend word. It really got a trend word, and it pisses me off in some kind of way. Not because Gary Vee is saying that it's complete bullshit. He is a great, influence on me, but I will actually definitely be saying what I really think is. Thing is, at my point of view, there is something like passive income. Like, yeah, you have a product and it sells and you get the money out of it. If you do not really have to put in a lot of work, but actually, most of the time it's just you put in a lot of work in the beginning, and then at the end, or just, in the mid-run or somewhere, then it gets to some kind of like, passive income. And this is actually good, if you do not have to work for your money, but your money works for you some kind of. This part made me think of other authors as well, like Ray Dalio, says that if he were to do his job the best, he would find a CEO to replace him and do better than he does. And Jack the E-Myth revisit for more on building business systems. And I will definitely go through this. The thing is, I could, write it down right now, because I would, but I would just lose this paper, or if I just screenshot it, I just screenshot it. So the myth visited. Here are good money trees options for MJ, or actually from MJ, I hope. Rentals, software, content like books, blogs, songs, videos, etc. Videos is actually great. For example, on YouTube, you just, have your AdWord income, which is basically pretty fucking low. A lot of people just get a really misunderstanding because of it, and because they just see YouTubers who just really have the Lambos and really earn quite a lot, but they are producing a lot, they are doing a lot. It is quite some work, and the thing is, the CPM, which is the cost per, this is not cost per mile, but it's cost per M, and this M stands for something in Latin, which is at the end something that's just, called 1,000. So the cost for 1,000 is between, I've just seen a German YouTuber talking about it, and his were 8 euros actually, on the really top of the month and top account and top channel. And this means that for every 1,000 clicks, you get $8, which is totally not that much. And then you'd be like, yeah, what is 1 million? Divided by 1,000 is 1,000. I'm a fucking moron. And then you can just say, if you get 1 million clicks onto one video, you then earn at least $8,000. Some kind of, there will be taxes as well, and there will be YouTube, getting a little bit of your money as well. That's true. But then you just have to see it as a volume thing and be like, yeah, if you just put out more content and more content and more content, and every single video in a month, you just make 30 videos a month, gets 1 million clicks, you get 30 by 8,000, which is 240,000 a month, basically. It shouldn't or wouldn't work out like this so easily, but there. And there would then also be distribution systems as app stores or apps actually, and or e-commerce and all these things. And now I really have to thank you for being with me on the stream. The stream was pretty shit today because it wasn't working. I hope I maybe look into it and see if it's completely shit or not, but it is available. But for the video and podcast listeners, I really have to thank you for going through it with me. Is that if there's anything you want to tell me, just hit me up in the comments or DM me wherever you want. All the links are down in the description, or any description, whatever platform you are right now. I love you, I thank you, I wish you wealth and happiness, and especially happiness. I really hope you're so fucking happy right now. And I'll see you the next time. Bye.